مشاهدينا مرحبا بكم في حوارات السياق. أعلن قادة عالميون هذا الأسبوع اتفاقا لمشروع ممر طموح للربط بين الهند وأوروبا عبر الشرق الأوسط، وذلك على هامش قمة مجموعة العشرين في نيودلهي. للمزيد من المتابعة حول هذا الموضوع ينضم إلينا سوريش برابهو، وزير الطيران المدني والسكك الحديدية والتجارة والصناعة السابق في حكومة الهند. أستاذ سوريش، مرحبا بك معنا.
Thank you.
دعنا نبدأ بتفاصيل المشروع المتوفرة لديكم. ما هي مزاياه وما جدواه اقتصاديا؟
See, there will be huge advantages for the movement of goods as well as movement of passengers. The Middle East and India are linked to one another emotionally, socially, culturally, economically. There are a large number of Indians who work in the Middle East. In UAE alone, there are 3.5 million Indians who are working there. There are more working in Saudi Arabia, in other parts of the world, in that region. Europe is obviously one of the very important markets for entire Asia. And then so is the United States ultimately. So if we have an economic corridor, that will benefit all the people who work here, they can benefit from it. Also, the cost of transportation will go down immensely. As you know, the railways are the most environment-friendly mode of transportation. They are better than the road, the emissions are less, and therefore it is always better idea how do you connect each and every part of the world as much as possible physically through railway network. So railways obviously have to be the preferred mode of transportation for bulk cargo as well as for others. So economic opportunities that will arise out of such connectivity will be huge. And therefore we should try to work on this as one of the principal projects between the different parts of the geography of the world, but more importantly between Middle East, India and Europe. This will be a game changer for all the economies of the world, reduce the cost of transportation. Therefore, the consumers in those other parts where the goods are being transported can use them at a much cheaper rate. This will be good for those exporters whose economic activity will increase, employment will rise. At the same time, the environmental footprint will not be increasing. That's why it is a very important idea.
حتى أفهم منك، أنت تخبرني أن السكك الحديدية أفضل من الشحن عبر السفن، لأن بعض الانتقادات تحدثت عن تكاليف التحميل ومشاكل التراخيص في كل دولة.
See, basically, if you really look at it, the world is moving towards multimodal transport. We have to understand that once we do this, we will be able to really take forward the idea of how can we reduce the cost of transportation. You're absolutely right. Loading, unloading will add to the cost. But the moment we actually have seamless transportation, that's what we are moving towards it. In terms of multimodal transport, then the same container can be loaded and uploaded without much of a hassle. Therefore, we must try to work on how do you make sure that the loading points, the unloading points are also containerized, number one, to the extent possible, but also digitalized. The digital economy can bring in huge benefits to the whole world. There is already, you can actually have a tag in terms of movement of a cargo. Now we can move for even at a higher level and find out what is the ultimate destination of that cargo. And therefore, what point you're making is a very valid point. If you have a proper digital imprint on that, you'll be probably able to take it to an ultimate destination without too much of loading and unloading. It is all possible. So digitalization is important. Containerization is important. Also planning is very important. And also making sure that the mode of transportation, which is in this case railways, will also be as technologically advanced as it should be. Actually, when I was the Minister of Railways, we have started a complete modernization of railways. We have started working on digitalization of railways. So I think this is in that direction we can definitely do it. If we can do it in India, I'm sure it can be done anywhere in the world. And Middle East being such a good partner of India, UAE and Saudi Arabia, we considered as a very close friends for the country. We'll be very happy to work with them to ensure that the rapid economic activities will increase. At the same time, benefits will accrue to the people and no environmental cost is added.
مفهوم. هل هذا المشروع هو محاولة للتنافس مع خط الحرير الصيني؟
No, actually, I don't think we should try to compare with any other initiative. This is an idea which is born out of collective wisdom of the leaders, Prime Minister Modi and other leaders. So I was also handling G20 for many years as a Sherpa for Prime Minister. So I have dealt with these issues very closely and I've seen that if the global leaders really put their weight behind a good idea, it always happens. So it should not be considered as a competitive idea. It should be considered as a good idea to the good of the environment, good of the people, good of the economy, good of the society, and therefore it should be taken forward.
المشروع بالفعل خلق توتراً مع تركيا، رئيسها لديه مشروع بديل.
Actually, see, I don't consider any idea that is born has to be competition to any country. It should be considered as an idea which is very important or not. That should be the consideration. And I'm sure if there are more trade routes, in fact, in the world, there was a Silk Road, which was a spice route. There was a Silk Road, there was a spice route. There are maritime routes, which were used by the Europeans, like Portuguese, like Spaniards, like British, like French. They were used it. So that didn't mean that the routes never existed. Only one route existed in the world. So therefore, if somebody has got another idea, that's fine. If you want to develop another trade route, what is the harm in doing that? So therefore, we should always look at it as whether it is benefiting the larger cause of world benefiting from it or not. And I think that consideration, this is a very good idea.
أفهم من حديثك أنه لا يمكن أن يخلق حالة من التوتر السياسي مع الصين.
See, once you actually start linking geographies, the participating countries only will participate, right? If you're linking India with Middle East and Middle East with Europe, obviously these are the countries which should participate in it. And therefore those countries are participating in it are willing partners in it. So obviously there is no need to think that those not participating. If somebody wants to participate in it later, it's their choice and also the choice of the project developers who have developed this idea now. So I'm sure there will be a very good addition to these ideas as we go along. This is a concept today. We have to convert it into a project. The project has to be implemented on the ground. There will be challenges, but the challenges have to be met. There will be financing challenge. There will be a challenge in terms of actually how to make this happen through difficult terrains. But I'm sure the human mind has the ability to address any challenge and to overcome any obstacle. And particularly when we have such strong allies from countries working together, I don't see any reason why we should not really benefit from it. I think there is really definitely going to be a huge opportunities and therefore opportunity will outweigh the cost.
من بين الانتقادات أيضا للمشروع أنه يمثل تهديدا أو منافسا لقناة السويس المصرية. هل تتفق؟
No, I don't think it should add to any dispute actually. It should really be the solution to the problem and not a problem in itself. And therefore, I really look at it as a good opportunity. Look at it like this. There's already a huge trade happening between India and the Middle East. The countries like we import a lot of oil from Saudi Arabia, from UAE. We have a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with our great friend UAE. We already negotiated. In fact, I was also Commerce Industry Minister when we had discussed the possibilities of doing it along with not only the UAE and Saudi, but probably all Gulf countries. And therefore, this is definitely there. The same situation. We have a huge trade between Europe and India. And therefore, there is a huge opportunity to be utilized from existing goods transportation. The cost will go down. Of course, once we have connectivity, there will be more opportunities can be added. More goods can be transported. Today, the bulk cargo may not be transported as much as possible. So now, for example, I always believe in this, that UAE and Saudi have provided energy security to India. They have provided livelihood security to millions of people from Indian people now living in Middle East. So why not we provide food security to them? Suppose you want to transport and export food from India to the Middle East. It is a very good opportunity. It's a bulk cargo which can go easily and in the shortest possible time without much of a damage. So these are the advantages.
رئيسة المفوضية الأوروبية قالت إن المشروع أكبر من مجرد سكك حديد أو كابلات، هو جسر أخضر ورقمي بين القارات والحضارات. كيف ذلك؟
So this is definitely linking civilizations, and these are one of the ancient civilizations which are born in the Middle East, which are born in India, and Europeans also have been there for a very, very long time on this planet. So I'm sure these different continents linking with another. If you say Asia linking with Europe is not the right way to look at it, because Asia itself is so large and so huge that there are different regions of Asia which are very distinct in their identity as well as in their character. So Middle East is in itself is a very good civilizational example. So is the example of India, which is probably one of the oldest living civilization on the planet. And therefore, while looking at like this will be a very, very good opportunity if we really make India and UAE and Saudi Arabia and of course Europe eventually as part of this, which will be a game-changing idea, which will have only benefits and nothing else.
هي ذكرت مفردة جسر أخضر، أعتقد أنها تقصد بهذا الجانب البيئي للمشروع، أليس كذلك؟
This will be not just a railway project if you really look at it. Once we have a linkage, it is actually linking so many opportunities. And therefore, I personally feel that railway only is a means to that. In fact, I've seen it in India. Wherever the railway goes, the development follows. Wherever the railway goes, the connectivity leads to more and more people coming closer to each other. And therefore, India itself is a subcontinent, a very large country. And therefore, in this country, the south and the north, the east and the west, when they are linked through the railway network, it brings transformational changes in the lives of the people. So once we have such kind of network, it will be a game-changing idea. And again, I will repeat, it is not just for the goods alone. Eventually, it can be resulting into a good idea for passengers to move. As it is, there is a huge challenge because some of the Indian workers who work in the Middle East, they have to pay huge money for air travel. With the railway will obviously be a cheaper option. And therefore, I think this again will be an opportunity. Plus, there will be a good opportunity. Suppose India and also Saudi Arabia, there are a large number of Indians who go for the Hajj for their pilgrimage. They can benefit from it. People can go for tourism. So just imagine, there is a huge tourism potential in India. There's a huge tourism potential in the Middle East. If we link with one another, people can use it as an opportunity to visit that place and also add to economic activity besides transportation of goods.
أستاذ سوريش، شكرا جزيلا لك للمشاركة معنا في حوارات السياق.
Thank you very much. I really like this opportunity to talk to you and through you, the audience in the Middle East. Thank you very much.
مشاهدينا، شكرا على طيب المتابعة. إلى الملتقى.